Oh boy, it's been a while, which is to say it's been like 3 weeks, I think, since I last did a stream. Today is Saturday, September 25th, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, so I'm going to be coming back at it with another technical stream. Uh, Typically, I've done my 9 p.m. Saturday block for programming, and today's going to be no different. Let me pop on some music real fast. Hotkeys, music, relax. There we go. That should be good, I think. Yeah. So tonight I'm going to be working on a feature request that I've had for my Discord bot for the Kason Gumi, because it's been in my backlog for quite a while. The feature I'm trying to emulate is one that a different Discord bot currently has for YouTube, where you can type in a command and it'll do like a little timestamp of something at that moment. You can put your pithy little comment about what happened at that moment, and at the very end of the stream it'll compile a list of all the timestamps that were made, and it will make them in a log. And that works really well for YouTube because you can do direct links to the stream with a timestamp and go straight to that moment. For this service, Mildem.com, you cannot do that. So you just have to have the timestamp, like, string, I guess the plain text version of it, and manually go to that point when you want to reference those things later. So it makes a little log of all of the timestamps, and you're well on your way. The the core feature here that needs that part all works, I should say. The part where it can make a timestamp and can make the log. But the part that it doesn't do currently is if you make a timestamp, you can't edit how far behind or ahead that timestamp is after the fact, which this other bot can do for YouTube. So like if something funny happens and you want to make a note of it, but it's like a minute long bit and you only realize it's funny at the very end, you make your timestamp at the end of the joke, and in the other bot you could do a command called adjust, and you can roll it back 60 seconds or something like that. So the timestamp will then go back to the beginning of the setup. This one, I did not have the foresight to make it like that, because I didn't know how I'd want to allow people to adjust the time. I didn't want it to be a separate command because I felt like that didn't strongly link what you're adjusting to the actual command at time of adjustment. So I had to think about it. So all of the timestamps that are currently made with the bot are just 10 seconds earlier than the time the command goes in, hard-coded. So today I'm going to finally change that because it is the most requested feature of this bot. Yeah. So that's the plan. Who do we got here? And I hope it works out. I spent the 2 days that I've had that weren't travel related this week. I had to upgrade the whole library from Discord JS 12 to 13, and I didn't do that on stream because it's boring as shit. So without further ado, hotkeys web dev show terminal. We're gonna do our git fetch, git checkout, timestamp, adjustment, boom. Perfect. Perfect. So, my plan for how I'm going to implement this feature is I want it to be buttons, which I learned you can do in Discord for bot embeds. The other bot that I'm trying to emulate has you do like a little command where you do like adjust -10, and it would roll the timestamp back 10 seconds, and you can keep stacking these on. But I didn't like that because it would only let you adjust the most recent command, or the most recent timestamp, I should say. Just seemed like a messy way to do it, so I want to include buttons on the timestamp command. But the trick is to get these buttons to actually do something, and the Discord API for that is kind of fucky, to say the least. I assumed originally when I was looking at how to set this up, as you can see I was like messing around with this a little bit the other day, because I wanted to have some idea of what I was doing. I assumed the buttons you'd be able to pass in like what they do when you click on them as part of the constructor for the button. Like you go make a button, you say, here's the text on it, it should be this size, this color. When you click on it, execute this function. That's not how it works at all. There is a guide here that talks about it, but basically, at a very high level, clicking on a button emits an event back to the Discord client, and then you have to figure out, based on the information in that event, where that event came from and work backwards to figure out what this button was originally trying to do. So we're going to have a bit of fun and try and figure out how to make this all tie together neatly. There are basically two, I think, goals here that I have. The first is to have buttons do something when you click on them. I got to figure out how to do that. And then once I can do that, I need the button to actually adjust the existing timestamp message when it's clicked on. That part's going to be harder, I think. But we'll see. Alright, so let's get into VS Code. Where's my VS Code? There we go. There's my VS Code. Have not had much time to work on this at all lately because I've been traveling a whole lot. This week I went to New York City for the first time in 2 years because there was a wrestling event. A lot of fun was had there, though I don't think I'd go again. Not just to New York City, I mean like to a wrestling show live, because it was quite a pain to get in and out. There's a lot of things that I miss from watching it on television that I didn't really feel were replicated at the venue. But that was my entire week. I blinked and then I came back from New York, and then I have no idea what happened yesterday at all. I totally lost Friday, and now I'm here on Saturday. And that's just been my week, basically. So I'm very rusty on all the stuff that I was trying to do here. Client, this would be interaction on error. Nope. But it's been a pretty productive week otherwise. Sounds like an awesome week. Yeah, it was busy. It was nice to travel. I got to see people that I haven't seen too much in general, which is always fun. But otherwise, it was just like a lot of time spent traveling. We got in from the city really late the night we came in, and then it started like pouring, like extreme rain. And I had to make the decision of, do I try and drive like the 4 hours home that night starting at like 8 p.m. or do I try and overnight it and leave really, really early to make it to work in time after that 4-hour commute the next day? So we finally get home at like 1 in the morning, and that was the whole trip. Wrestling was fun though. If I got better seats, I think I might also be more inclined to go again. My biggest oh my god, the shit, huh? Hold on, I gotta go ban a bot. Where are you at? Oh, I see. Okay, it's a lot of them. I see. Let's see. Ban. Hey, Stardust Crusader. I am having an issue right now, where I'm being followed by bots. I will try and resume coherent thought shortly, if I am able to. I don't know how to address this, yeah. They're not saying anything, but they are showing up. I am banning them. But it does not seem like this will end, because it's just accounts made with a random word. Is that a thing I can do? Does anyone know? I mean, that's fair. You're not like the streamer here. I should know how to deal with this stuff. I think I got them all, though. It seems like it stopped. You're getting, like, ping notifications because, or, like, the alert noise because it is, on a delay. Like, it doesn't do them all at the same time. But yeah, this, dumb fuck, bot, dipshit. Yeah, right? Like, you should be so lucky. Yeah, that's basically what just happened right here. But they've been banned now. Cool, sorry about that. Yeah, hey Stardust Crusader. I was just recounting what I was trying to accomplish this week, for this bot. I'm sure I will repeat myself, so I don't think I need to at this moment in time. I know last time I did a technical stream, you were talking about school starting back up for yourself. I think you're in your senior year, I think. So I'm hoping that's going well for you, given, you know, the world right now. I'd be happy to hear about it. Alright, so based on the guide here, it says that there's an interaction create event. We receive the interaction. If the interaction is not from a button, we can do something. So let's see what happens on our interaction here. If it's not a button, I also got to figure out like a good pattern for this. I have no idea what this would be, because for the other event here, the message create one, I have a very strong pattern where it's easy to check if you have the proper permissions, if the message came from a prefixed message, which is going to need to change also because Discord is discontinuing the support for bots to be able to read messages without being verified. It is no longer the accepted way to do commands. There's a like specific bot command function on the user interface now. My degree schedule is sort of whack. I'm split between junior and senior. I have no idea what that kind of means because I've never been in that position. I don't know how you can be split. I guess it's just you need like an extra semester maybe? Is that what you mean? Like you're not quite done with junior year? Anyway, yeah, so like I have a very good pattern for this where it checks all of your permissions and stuff, and then it iterates over this list of commands I have, figures out which command is the one you just entered, and then it has a very boilerplate approach to just executing the command that it found. Like it says, find the command entry. If the entry exists, do the thing. If the command returns anything, any kind of text, it's emote react, so you can react to the message, and then you send it. But I don't know what the correct API is for this. Yeah, Discord did. They said they did it for privacy reasons. I guess that makes sense. It's for if your bot is in over 100 servers, it can no longer read message data without being considered a verified bot. And I guess that makes sense, but it's really annoying because it essentially will break every bot that no longer is receiving active support, which is just frustrating, in my opinion. Okay. So we have an interaction create event here. We're going to see what happens. We're going to log it if it's a button. The guide here then also says you can like respond to the button somehow. Message component interaction class provides the same message as interaction class. Methods behave equally. Reply, edit reply, defer reply, fetch reply, delete, follow up. I don't know what they do. And then the example here, you can, I think this is like basically what I'm going to be using, where you can update the message that had the button, I think. Let's try that actually. Let's see what happens if I do that. Just copy this wholesale and not pass this in. So it just has content. And this is not I, this is show VS Code. Interaction. Ooh, and this is not a message, this is a... Oh, that's annoying. Okay. Well... We'll figure it out, I guess. I transferred, so I have some easy 200 classes and 400 classes. Yeah. Okay. I haven't been in that situation, but I know quite a few people who have. Best of luck to you, honestly. I said this last time as well. I can't imagine being a student right now. That just sounds so challenging. So challenging. I don't find it to be an enviable position to be in at all. Okay. And so the other thing I need to do is I need to add, what was I going to do? Buttons to a message. Eventually this will be on the timestamp message, but right now I'm just going to leave it here. So we're going to generate some buttons. I left a helpful note for myself. We've got components. It's going to be an array. App config. Discord helpers. Generate buttons. Oh, I spelled that function name wrong. Reminder to myself to change that later. Boom. So now we've got 2 buttons, I think. Actually, why say change it later? I should do it now. Discord helper. Button. Export with the correct name, please. Button row. So now I can fire up the bot. We can open up the Discord. Bot is online. I can do... Oh, and I should also show my terminal because that's going to be doing some printout in a second here. Okay, so the bot's up and running. I do... This has buttons now. Okay, cool. That actually did the thing. It says it changed the text of the message to a button was clicked. And I guess that makes sense because, yeah, the new message API suggests that content is the text. You have an embed, which is separate. That makes sense. So update is the function I'm going to want to call. And that seems to be good. Okay. Okay. Cool. That was relatively painless. But it's not on the command that I wanted to have a button for yet. So that's fine. Let's take this and move this somewhere else. Let's put this on our timestamp command now that we know we can respond to it. Oh, so in addition to this week being a busy week because I traveled for wrestling, which was, as I said, fun, I also published a library in correspondence with... Actually, I think this might have been last week, but it's definitely since the last time I streamed. I published a library in correspondence with VTube Studio publishing their plugin API, and I'm not a very creative person, so I didn't have a very good idea for what a streamer might want as a plugin for VTube Studio that would be useful. But I did have an idea on how to let people figure that out later. I made a library for Unity that would let people make plugins that interact with VTube Studio. So it handles all the stuff where you need to connect and get authorization and save your authorization token, and it provides strongly typed methods for all of the weird ways that you can send messages to VTube Studio. Because it's functioning over WebSocket, it's like VTube Studio spins up a web server, and then you need to connect to it and send it messages with very specific content in them. So I strongly typed all of that and made it behind a strongly typed language, so you can import that library and make a plugin without having to guess what you need to send where. I'm pretty happy about it. I felt the strongest sense of accomplishment I've actually ever felt as a programmer just, I think, yesterday, in fact, because I found somebody who had made something with it since I published it. They made a plugin that let you control your puppet with your Wacom pen. It had, like, custom sensitivity parameters for tilting your pen in the 2 axes, and if your pen was on or off the tablet, and for pressure sensitivity, I believe. So I was very excited. They were talking about this, and I looked at it, and I looked at the source code, because they also made it open source, and I saw stuff that I'd written, and I was like, I made this happen. I let this happen. Very happy with it. Lost my train of thought, though. This is components. Oops, I already had that in my clipboard. Alright, so with this we'll add 2, but we have our message content. Oh wait, no, this is not even the right message to attach these to, because this is the one that says you can't make a timestamp right now. We want this one. This is the one that has the embed, generates an embed. of the timestamp. The fields. Okay. Makes sense. So now we're gonna... Hey, Bon is here. Hello. I was just talking about all the wild shit that's happened this week. I also had to ban like 6 bots, but that's neither here nor there. Bon was also involved in our wrestling adventure. I can see that. Okay, so now we've got our embed, generates the embed with the timestamp. Our fields are the actual timestamp, printout, and the description. And then we have 2 little buttons that will say add or remove 10 seconds. And I think that's good. Yeah, okay, so now if I... Oh, and I also have this whole printout for information about the interaction that I will probably need later in order to correlate the button click with this specific timestamp. Alright, so let's run this npm run start. I go back to Discord. Hide VS Code. I do that. And it's going to tell me stream is not currently live. Let me boot up the platform streaming application. Hopefully this isn't too aggressively against terms of service. Alright. There we go. Live now. So now I can do... timestamp. There you go. Okay. That seems to be functioning like I want. I've got my minus 10 seconds plus 10 seconds button, and I have my upvote and downvote reacts, which is what I want. You can upvote or downvote the message to include or exclude the timestamp from the ending summary. If it gets more downvotes than upvotes, it will just be excluded as a bad timestamp. It's a core feature if you'd like misunderstood, or if 2 people try and do the same timestamp at the same time, and you only want to have one of them, you can just like downvote the other one. And so now we've also got these buttons that will let you add additional time on the clock, or to and from the clock. They don't do anything right now. They just say a button was clicked, but that attaches to the message properly. So let's stop that. Yeah, there you go. Like it prints out this little summary. As desired. I guess it's not visible, but I'm launching a additional streaming application to stream to this website with no source. So there's no audio or anything, it's just black screen. But I need to do it in order to test this stuff. So our little summary works. We've got our buttons, but the buttons don't do anything useful yet. Let's look at our terminal, because there's probably useful information in our terminal that will tell you, or tell me, how I'm going to correlate these button clicks back to the message that they need to edit, instead of just well, okay, so we don't need to necessarily correlate them back to the message that they're going to edit, in the sense of finding the message to hold on, show VS Code. Finding the message to like edit the embed of, that part is fine. I need to know what message it is, because the way our system currently works for storing these timestamps is while it's running, it writes each of these timestamps into a database. In the event that the bot crashes or needs to reboot or something while a stream is going, I didn't want to lose timestamps that were being written, so I have them write to a database temporarily. The database is indexed by first server ID, and then each server has a list of languages, because you can do different timestamps per language, and then each of those is a map of key being the message ID, like the unique identifier for the Discord post that it made, and the value being a plain text string that is the timestamp. And then so it'll go through all of those. At the end of the stream, it'll check all of those message IDs, check each message to see if it has more upvotes than downvotes, and if it does, it will include it in the final log. So the reason I need to be able to correlate a button back to the original message that it came from is to go into this database and update the plain text string with a more appropriate time, which is going to be very roundabout, but it should be doable. So instead of interaction update here, that's no longer what we want. We're going to check if I think it's just, I've got it right here actually on my terminal. The custom ID is what I'm looking for. Subtract 10. Hey Benny, how's it going? If interaction dot custom ID equals sub. Yeah, so this is definitely going to need to get rewritten at some point, because this is not how I'd want this to be in the final code, but for the sake of prototyping, this is probably the correct way to do it. Custom ID equals add 10. So Benny, since you're joining midway through, I'm updating a Discord bot I have right now to allow you to do timestamps on a stream, and more specifically, edit when that timestamp is meant to be after you've made the stamp. So if you make your stamp and you meant to actually do it 20 seconds earlier because you were slow on the typing or whatever, it'll provide a button that will let you roll back the time on that. It's a highly requested feature. I am sleepy, had too many things to do today. On a Saturday? That's no good. That's no good at all. All I did today was go apple picking. That was my adventure. It was quite crowded. Oh, I also tasted a lot of wine. That was also a thing we did. Is this in JavaScript? Yes, because I hate myself and I did not want to do TypeScript. But this is just JavaScript. This is using Discord.js, and it is vanilla fucking JavaScript right here. And I would not recommend writing a bot of this complexity in vanilla JavaScript, but, you know, it's possible. Can I do, like... Wait, do I even have the Discord imported here? No. Oh, wait, yes, I do. I do. Can I do that? I don't know why I would do that. I guess that's probably not a thing. But the way I have this set up is it always assumes the second argument here is a message. And in this particular case, it's not a message, it's an interaction. That's really annoying. So I want to be like, no, but treat this as an interaction, though. That's annoying. I could go up to where this gets defined here and say that instead of a message, this is like message or, I think, but that might not help either. I'm not sure. This is when TypeScript would be very handy. Well, it would be a gift and a curse in that case, because I wouldn't be able to have a pattern like this with TypeScript. It would get angry, because I'm just passing stuff back and forth willy-nilly. I had internet set up at 9 a.m. Oh, you moved? Is that right? You were moving? Does not exist on type. Message interaction property custom ID does not exist. I know it doesn't exist on type message. Huh? Wait. This is the correct syntax for or, right? Like, that's not a thing, right? You got a house in California? In in this economy sounds fake. But I'm happy for you. That's awesome. Ooh, Minmeo. I was ready to. I heard the death knell ring, and I thought it was time to ban another bot. And I see that I am wrong. Hello, thank you for joining the Skeleton crew. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. As they say, if your tombstone does not say "rest in peace" on it, you get drafted into the Skeleton War. So your voluntary conscription really will save a poor lost soul. Thank you very much. Fake gamer house. I assume you're talking about your house and not, yeah, and not Mini Mayo's house here, or the house of the skeleton here. But I'm already spirit-like. Damn. Maybe you can escape purgatory here. What the hell was I doing? I completely lost my train of thought. I'm glad you're not a bot. Is what this boils down to. I got a bunch of them a couple minutes ago. Is this better? Does it like this more? Can I do this? Annie. Okay, so Annie. The ore in JS. I feel like half of that message got retracted. Stardust. I thought this is how you could say a type could be either or maybe that's just not a thing you can do. I'm trying to get too cute with my type definitions. Oh well. I ignore it for now. And just turn my targeting computer off because I know that this will work. Alright, so what other information do I get out of this interaction? Yeah, it's just helpful. It's like the type annotations up there don't actually do anything. They're just give my compiler IntelliSense, which is what I need. Or want, I shouldn't say need. Because it makes... well, since there's no compiler, it helps me guess what I need to do a lot. Okay, so we've got button interaction, type message component, who did it. I should make this bigger while I'm looking at it. JS is not typed. No, that would be TypeScript. But you can use, I'll actually lose my train of thought again. It doesn't check. No, it doesn't give a shit. But you can do type defs like this. I gotta make this even smaller. And at least VS Code will know that your thing should be of these type definitions. And doesn't do anything to check or enforce it, but it will give your IntelliSense an idea of what should be happening. Which is very handy. So it's almost like you have got TypeScript on your side, but you're not doing compiler because you still hate yourself. That's the essence of vanilla JavaScript here. What the hell am I looking for? We've got our channel ID, guild ID. I guess this is the message ID. Author. Components, embeds. So can I do I dot or interaction dot update, and then we do embeds would be interaction dot message dot embeds. I think. That's not how you spell embed. The type system Python added. Yeah. 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 It's typing, but not really. Okay, so let's see. This works. Actually, I guess I don't know how I would know this works because the embed isn't going to change. Let's do const how do I want to do this? I'm putting the cart before the horse here. We know that we can catch a button event. We know how to do that now. It is a button. We catch it and do something based on it. Now we need to... What am I trying to do? We want to update the timestamp. And that's going to be a challenge right now because the way we store timestamps is just as a plain string, which is not very conducive to editing. You just get a string like, if I go and show my Discord again, where is it? One of these. Yeah, okay, so we get a string like this, or just says a timestamp, and then on the final log, oh, my terminal is giant and blocking everything. That's fun. Yeah, so it stores messages like this, where it's the time, dash, timestamp message, and I need to be able to edit this string. So I think what I want to do is instead of storing a string like that, I need to... What do I need to do? This is a pain in the ass, actually. Manipulating time is such a pain in the ass. I would need to store the start time of the stream as a Unix timestamp, and then the time of the timestamp as a Unix timestamp. And every time this button gets clicked, I would need to calculate the difference between those two and print it out, I think. I think that's how I'd want to do it. And then in the database, instead of saving it as just a string, it would have the message string, and then it would have the start and end, or start and current timestamps in the database. So you could constantly go and pull the current timestamp back out of the database, compare it against the start timestamp, and dynamically generate this text. I think. Ugh. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so right now when we create our timestamp here, oh, I'm not showing VS Code again. Alright, so when we create our timestamp, we make a new timestamp object where we format our time, now minus live start time. And then, what's this? Oh, and then this is the actual message. Oh, I'm hiding it with my terminal again. We can just hide terminal. We have the actual message, which is the remaining arguments of the command. Yeah, so that works. Time formatted time. So I think I want to change what a timestamp object looks like. And we're gonna change it to something like does JavaScript have a long? It would just be number. And this is no longer time. This is going to be start time. We're gonna have we're gonna do stamp time. And it's gonna be at param number. This is pretty bad because I'm using the word timestamp in the parameter or argument definitions for the timestamp class, but it doesn't mean the same thing, so I should probably think about that in the future. I don't need that right now, but I will in a little bit. Timestamp of the I almost wrote the timestamp of the timestamp for the description here. That sucks. Of the moment, I guess. So we're gonna do this dot start time. Start time. This dot stamp time. Stamp time. Okay, so now our timestamp object is a little more sophisticated. Instead of just having a formatted string as the time, we have actual numbers that represent time. We can still save those into the database the same way. It should be okay with that. So we go back to our timestamp command. We do new timestamp. Instead of formatting our time, I'm gonna remove that. We have live info start time. We have now, which is the stamp time. Now being defined as 10 seconds earlier than now. Our string arguments to join. Cool, that makes sense. So the timestamp here is now going to be timestamp dot, or it's going to be format time, which is the function that we used to make that string before. It's going to be dot print, and this is going to be timestamp dot, and this is where those type definitions come in handy, because now I can do stamp time minus timestamp dot start time. And it knows that those are properties that you can have, and it knows that they're numbers because I gave those little type definitions earlier. So that's helpful. I think this should still work as desired. Timestamp entry. This needs to change though, because I don't want it to just be a string like this. Writing timestamp. This is now going to be just write the timestamp. I think we want to write the whole JavaScript or the JSON object, the library, the database, and then that's cool. That's fine. I'm gonna take this, and then on the part where it actually prints out the end summary, not the stop command. This is actually counterintuitively in the start command, because it has a callback for what happens when it stops. Oh, wait, no, it's in the flush command. Ha 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 ha. Flush to flush out the timestamps. We do this. Const. Equals timestamp. One dot this is what I need. Boom. So we have our time. Timestamp 1 minus the start time 1. Print, description, push, timestamp entry. Okay, so I just shook things up quite a bit. And I'm not sure if my unit tests would catch this working. I don't think I was able to unit test this because it is very dependent on a stream being running, and I wasn't smart enough to figure out how to do that in the time that I had allotted. So I'm going to just give it a shot. That's the fun thing about JavaScript, is that it is very easy to test, generally speaking. I'm sure Bon is going to actually me, because Bon writes much more complex JavaScript professionally. But for little things like this, it's pretty easy to just test. So we're gonna run the bot. Didn't blow up, that's pretty cool. I will start my emulated stream. I hear the notifications on Discord that it thinks I have started streaming on an alternative platform with no source, so that's cool. To 0 viewers, that's cool. So now I can do a timestamp. And I hope it works. Awesome. It does not work. Sorry we hit an error. The stupid motherfucker who wrote this bot does not a fucking program. Timestamp entry is not defined. And that should send me a more comprehensive... Why didn't it DM me? Huh? Oh, there we go. Okay, slow. I have the bot set up to DM me on my main account every time it has an error in any server, and it gives me the whole stack trace, which rules. This is the best debugging tool that I've ever had on anything I've ever worked on. Nothing in my professional career comes even close to this. Okay, reference error, timestamp entry is not defined, add command, callback. Oh, what command, though? Oh, timestamp command, duh. Alright, cool. So that tells me exactly what I need to know, and I made a mistake that I would have caught if I had a strongly typed language like TypeScript, but there's no compilers in JavaScript, so you just throw spaghetti at the wall and pray. Where is it looking at timestamp entry in this? Line 53? Alright. Oh. There we go. My bad. That sucks when the log is what throws the exception. Let's try again. Alright. Neat! Alright. If I click these buttons, does anything happen? No. This interaction failed. Why did this interaction fail? Interesting. And I'm not getting any blips in this, which means that it doesn't know that these buttons are being clicked. My terminal should be having information being printed. So that's interesting. That's another thing to look at. But it's printing out my timestamp correctly, and now if I end my stream, not the one that I'm actually streaming, the fake stream, okay, it's not printing out the end summary, which is bad. Suggests to me that something has blown up somewhere. That's fun. That's not fun at all. How do I debug this? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I debug that off the top of my head. That's bad, though. Flush command is not working. Format time, timestamp, stamp time, start time. Like, it should be throwing an exception if it's having an issue here, I would think. But it didn't do that. So I don't know. I don't fucking know. But that's the fun of technical streams, is I never know anything. Alright, what's time? It's almost 10. I have about an hour left before I have to go. So let's see what can I address here? What would be the correct order of operations? Okay, first thing, it didn't seem to understand that it was having its buttons pressed. It was not receiving interaction update, which makes me think that oh, that's why. This should be an or, not an and. If it's either of these, do your thing. Okay. That's cool, that's fine. Interaction update, embeds, interaction message embeds, that's fine. I assume that will fix it. Why did it not print out timestamps on? Should have done that, but it didn't. And it didn't throw an exception either, which is really suspicious. Format time. It didn't... Why didn't that throw an exception, though? Okay, so the issue here is format time is not defined, because I didn't import it into this class. But it didn't throw an exception. It just was like, okay, got it, and didn't do anything. This is, again, why a normal, well-adjusted person who isn't like a masochist would use TypeScript. Not me, though. Couldn't be me. Okay, so now format time is defined. Cool. Let's try again. Benny, are you working on any cool code projects, like, non-professionally, if you have, like, the mental capacity for doing that while also buying a house? I ask you specifically because I don't know who else is around, and I know you have a high aptitude for this kind of crap, so you're getting called out right now, assuming you're still around. If you're not still around, then that's fine. Questions open to the floor if anybody's working on anything cool. And I guess it doesn't even have to be technical. If there are any artsy folks out there or what have you, I'm also interested to hear what's being worked on. This is the moment where I'm just waiting around for stuff to work, and you can chill all you want. A timestamp. Alright. Cool, it says edited. Didn't change anything, but it does indicate that we received the message. Planning on a few things. Well, feel free to share, unless it's secret plans. In which case, now you're just tempting me or teasing me with forbidden knowledge. Photo editing. Your last con. What was your last con? I can't imagine you've been to one recently, unless you have. In which case, I guess tell me about that. Going to AEW was like the first time I've been in a large crowd, AEW being the wrestling event, in like the 2 years of the pandemic, and it was like a jumping straight into the deep end kind of thing, right? Because it was a packed audience of like, I couldn't even, tens of thousands of people, I think. Probably like 15,000 people, I think. Last week, Colossal Con East, oh shit. A water park, huh? That sounds scary. I don't know, a water park sounds like a dangerous time in the middle of a plague. But I trust that you know what you're doing. It was nutty. A second. Time stamp. Okay, it's formatting good. What am I doing? So now I'm going to end the fake stream. And it will print my summary. Okay, undefined though. It doesn't like that. But that's fine. We can figure that out. Show VS Code. Hung out with friends who were vaxxed. Didn't even go to the actual con. Yeah, so you're just there to do, like, photography? Or... I don't even know. Why is timestamp dot description? Oh. There we go. That's why it was undefined. Cool, so that part will work. That's cool. So now we got it so it's able to dynamically adjust the time. There's some surrounding fields and woods that are really nice. Yeah, one thing going to New York City made me appreciate, like, it's very cool, and I haven't been to the city in a while, though I've been there plenty of times in my life. So I wasn't like, oh, a big city. I guess I just kind of forgotten, since I've been out here for a while, how much I appreciate the crickets around here every night, and how much I appreciate being able to see the stars. I really have been taking that for granted in my entire time being away from New York, and it's quite nice. The woods around here are great. I post photos of turtles like 3 times a week. You're not going to find that in Queens. So I really enjoy that. It's nice to visit someplace that's so radically different because it makes you appreciate where you are, I think. Just on the subject of nice fields and woods. I totally feel that. Okay, so anyway, this is working. This is good. I changed how timestamps are stored. They have a stamp time and a start time, and we can still read them, and the summary still prints the same way. So we have working behavior, which is good. I'm going to go ahead and comment this out because I actually don't need this again. So our behavior works. So I'm going to quickly commit and push because I know that this is the same behavior that we started the day with, except the backend is a little bit different. Let's do git add all git commit changed how timestamps are stored in the DB git push. Now it's going to run my unit tests, and hopefully they all still work, which is actually a bad thing. Maybe. Well, no, because I guess the front-end behavior is the same. But if all my unit tests still pass and I changed a bunch of stuff, maybe it means my unit tests weren't very good. This is the only way that it makes any sense to have something in just JavaScript. If I didn't have all of these unit tests, this bot would not be production ready under any circumstances. And even this is, as you can see, missing a lot of coverage. I'm at about 70% of all of my lines of code are being tested by these unit tests, which is alright, not very good for production, but it's better than nothing. Most of these tests just verify that my code can run, as in there are no, like, reference errors or things like that, because there's no compiler, so JavaScript won't tell you that until you try and do it. So I need tests to tell me ahead of time before I just deploy this. Anyway, after photo edits, I'm getting back on streaming and a little game dev action, I think. That's exciting. I want to learn Godot, the engine. I think you pronounce the T in the Godot engine, because it looks cool. It's something I don't know how to do. I'm a little disillusioned with how Unity has been going, and I don't want to learn Unreal. Unity's kind of just trying a bunch of, like, exciting, like, AAA type stuff, where it's like, big fancy render pipeline, or we've got this brand new input system, but then they never really follow through with what they're doing. So I'm kind of not feeling how they're going, and I want to learn another engine just to have a contingency plan. But, yeah, I want to learn Godot. Never heard of it. It's pretty cool. It's kind of got a lot of flack because it had a very high-profile game release recently. Hey Haku, welcome. The Sonic Colors Ultimate remaster. I know at least the Switch version was done in Godot, which is really bizarre. A weird choice. The team that was making it, I don't think had a lot of familiarity with Switch ports, and so I think it had a bunch of, like, graphical issues, but I don't think that's the fault of the engine. And it's like the first time a AAA game has been made on that engine, which is exciting. Otherwise, it's, like, very serviceable. I think it can compile the browser quite well. Yeah, so it's something that's out there. I'm out of it for a while. I don't know how new it is, but that is, I'm going to type it in here, Godot engine. That's how you spell it. It is another type of game engine that is, I believe, totally free. Alright, so we pushed our code. We know that this part works. Now I can actually make the buttons do something. Let's see. So we want to change the embeds of the message. So we're going to do const I guess it should just be embed equals interaction. Yeah, so Haku, you're I guess about halfway through how long I'm planning to stream today. I'm gonna try and call it quits in an hour, but I am currently working on improving the timestamp function for the server, because a lot of people have asked how you adjust the timestamps for Mildum streams after the fact, and I keep having to tell people, well, you just can't do it. So now you can, or soon you'll be able to. Interaction.message.embeds 0. And I guess I need to check this. We're gonna do a ternary. it's just like an empty object. It'll probably complain about that, but that's fine. Bed. So we're gonna do. At some point, and it's probably not going to be on stream right here, this will probably be a post-stream cleanup thing, I'm going to need to, or want to, take this code actually we're going to, yeah, okay, that's fine. I want to centralize this because I'm going to have two places now where I'm going to be writing what a timestamp embed looks like. It's going to be in whatever I end up doing for this interactions thing. Okay, we're going to do... Not this, actually. We're going to do embed equals this. So we've got a timestamp. I need to bring format time in here, which I don't really want to do, but again, I'll clean this up later, I guess. Not on stream. Stream is for doing broad strokes to make big flashy things happen. Because eventually the stuff inside here will be moved out to its own class. We're going to do format time, timestamp. Okay. So now we're going to do... How are we going to do this? Our timestamp storage, we need to get all timestamps. I think. The guild ID. Guild timestamps. The guild ID from the subject. And then we're going to need to iterate over all of the timestamps. That's kind of a pain. Yeah, so the way the timestamps are stored in the database are indexed by first. We have each, it's a map of server ID to, and then a map of languages to, and then it's a key value pair of message ID to the actual timestamp. So I would need to know from this event what language of timestamp I'm trying to edit, but I don't actually think I need to know that, because I can figure it out based on the message ID. It's just not elegant. So I need to have, I think I need to get all of the, what is it, what am I trying to do here? App config dot timestamp storage dot get something like that, I think. Yeah, it returns a string any array. In this case, it's going to be interaction.guild, I think. I think that's the thing I can do. And this is going to be const timestamps equals. Let's see what this looks like. Console.log timestamps. JSON.stringify. Boom. Alright. Let's run this bot. Didn't work. Why? Cannot find module format time. That's fair. One too many things. Okay. Let's boot up the fake stream again. Let's go to this. Boom. T timestamp. So now if I have my terminal nice and handy, make this nice and big, I'm going to click on one of these buttons, and I get an error that's fatal. That rules. Okay. Why? Timestamp is not defined. That's fair. Okay. I'm surprised that's a fatal error. Oh, I know why that's a fatal error, actually. That'll be fixed later. That makes sense, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's a fatal error. Let's not worry about that for now, then. Ba -ba -ba -ba. Dated. Let's not worry about that for now. I just want to know what I'm able to get out of this database to figure out how to walk over it, how to iterate over it, crawl through it, I guess. Let's try again. A time stamp. So now I can click on one of these buttons and I get stuff happening. Okay. So it's a list. I wish this was formatted a little nicer, but that's okay. So we have EN is the language, and then it goes to the message ID. So I need to do oh gosh, okay. So this is where's my I need paper for this. I hate how I have this set up, but it works. It's efficient for printing, which is the most laborious. Where the fuck is my pen? I need to go find a pen. Okay, I'm back. This is just like a real pain in the ass way to have to iterate over stuff. So I have, from the interaction, from the button click, we have a message ID, which is in the list here, it's this long number. But in theory, if you have two translation channels piped to the same Discord channel, a timestamp in one channel could make a timestamp entry in two different languages in the database. Like if you say, I want to output English and Spanish to the same stream chat channel, and somebody makes a timestamp in that channel, you'll get two entries in the database, one for English and one for Spanish, because at the end of the stream, it will output a separate output file per language, because there could also be translators in the stream chat itself doing things for different languages. So you want to split them even if they receive timestamps from the same channel. So what I'm going to need to do is I've got, I have to draw this. En is an array of, it looks like, so we have an array of these at the top level. And S. I wish I should get a whiteboard program so I could draw this on stream. That would be helpful, I think. Okay, so then that is a list of. Oh, what's that? This shit again. Alright, hold on, I gotta ban some more bots. You there. Be gone. Alright. I liked the suggestion that Stardust had earlier of having a regex for banning bots. A regex would make sense. Thank you, by the way, Vaughn. Thank you. We're just gonna listen to that for a hot minute here, because it's gonna do all 6 of them in order. But yeah, like a regex for banning these bots would be really helpful. But I don't think that's a thing that you can do. I don't know. It would be nice. Just pretend it's 6 o'clock, and that's why you're hearing the bell 6 times. Okay, so I've already lost my train of thought. I'm so easily distracted. Alright, so this is going to be... Oh, and this really shows how long I've been out of it for JavaScript. It's for let language of timestamps. I think of, not in. In is properties, of is an iterator? Yes. Alright, show VS Code. Thanks for helping with banning the bots, by the way. Fun. Let language of timestamps. And then we're gonna do for let entry of language 1, I think is how this is set up. Console.log entry. What is this output? This is where a debugger would be really handy also. That could run while the bot is running live. But I'm not smart enough for that. Alright, let's see. And we're gonna hide VS Code. Alright, so we can make our timestamps. I click on this. Hey! That's formatted exactly like I wanted. Perfect, 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 perfect. Cool. So now, I'm not sure why it has 3 entries for this. It should have 2? I think. Oh, no, it has a bunch from... Because the bot is working like intended, and I never ended my dummy stream. And so I had 2 timestamps that I tested earlier, and I restarted the bot, and I made a new one, and so it had a bunch of entries that it remembered from before the bot restarted, because I have it right to a database, so you don't lose timestamps if the bot reboots during a stream, because streams can be very long. So that works as intended, yes. Okay, that makes perfect sense. We get our entries at the end. So now I've got the first... So then we have... this is going to be entry 0. This is const message ID equals entry 0. Then we're going to say if interaction dot think I can do message ID. If I scroll way back up in my terminal here, I'm not clear if this ID is the interaction ID or it's not a channel ID. These are alphabetical, right? So it should be after member. Message dot. Oh right, it's going to be interaction dot message ID. Message D. Then we're going to do entry 1 dot descript. Okay, so let's see if this works. Message ID is equal to okay, so now I'm going to boot the bot back up again. So now it should let me know if these things line up. Yes, run the bot, please. Spin up the dummy stream. So we can do at boom t ts. It's now in my terminal. Let's see. I click on the button, and it prints out that it's yes, perfect. That is exactly what I wanted. So it knows that there is a message that has the same ID as the interaction ID, and it knows that the description of that, yes, okay, this is perfect. This works just like I wanted. Okay. So, we found our message. That's awesome. So we're gonna do if interaction dot custom ID equals subtract 10. We're gonna do entry 0 dot stamp time. Sorry, entry 1 dot stamp time equals entry 1 stamp time minus, it's going to be 10 minus 1000 because it's in milliseconds. Else, we're going to do, this could also be a ternary. Every time I see a conditional, I'm like, ah, this reminds me of a ternary. But it's fine. We're not going to do a ternary. And then we're going to do appconfig dot timestamp storage dot save. What did I call this method for actually writing a goddamn timestamp? Add timestamp. Oh, wait, that's probably not right. Oh no. Okay, wait, this is a problem. I'm also not showing VS Code. Damn it. This is a problem. I don't have. It's not a. Doesn't have to be a unique key. Message ID is not a unique key, so I can keep pushing. I'll just demonstrate it. I'll show what happens here. Add timestamp. We're gonna need to do interaction guild. Language. Message ID. And then entry 1. Yeah, so now I'm gonna run this. I'm gonna remove some of this printout stuff also to clear up my console. On start. Now I can run this. I can spin up the stream. It's already going. I'm gonna do TS1, and I am gonna hit minus 10, minus 10, minus 10, and it's gonna, now I'm gonna end the stream and there's gonna be 3 identical TS1 printouts there. I'm wrong, why is that? Is it actually a unique key? Does that actually work? Or is my... something is maybe amiss. Something is wrong, something is not working here. Because my understanding of it is... what is my understanding of it, actually? My understanding of it is that you'd get into here, you've got your interaction message ID matches. If the custom ID is subtract 10, you modify the entry's timestamp by minus 10 seconds. Otherwise, you increase it by 10, and then you write it back to the timestamp. But this would just make another entry for a new timestamp with the same description and same everything else. But it doesn't seem to be doing even that. So I'm not sure what's happening here. Let's try again. Alright, I got about a half hour left, so let's see what else I can solve here. We're gonna do at TS1. It's now, I think, when I add 10 seconds to this, add 10 seconds to this, add 10 seconds to this. Now I'm going to end the stream. No. Okay. Still... Why is it doing that? I feel like it means that this writing this timestamp back to storage is not happening, but I don't know why that would be. Get all timestamps works. Well, we'll see. We'll see what's happening. So I fire up terminal. 1, 2, 3. And I can see that my stamp time is changing. But is it just not writing back to the database? Is that the issue here? Because this seems to be... Oh, wait, no, my stamp time isn't changing. Why? Wait, what? Now I'm confused. Yeah, it must just not be writing back to the database properly or something. Because if I hit plus 10... it's not plus 10 from the previous entry, it's plus 10 from the original. And if I do minus 10... or... I really don't understand actually what it's doing here. And then it increments it to... Huh. So it must just not be saving back into the database, but I don't see why that is. Is it something to do with how this add timestamps thing works? Current list push. New entry. I would think this would just make a lot of identical. Alright, we're gonna add a console log here too. Timestamp. I am baffled. This scientist is currently baffled. I don't know what's happening here. Never do. Alright, bot's up and running. That's going. Boom. Okay, so in terminal we can see pushing. Okay. Well, that answers my question. It is, in fact, not saving afterwards. It only does the pushing. Oh, wait, no. Wait, no, I can't read. I'm blind. Yeah, it says it's pushing after every time I click the button. But it doesn't actually seem like that's the case. I don't know what's happening here. I don't understand this behavior. I feel like it might have something to do with the fact that I'm trying to edit entries in the array and they might be like references or something rather than values. I don't see it. I don't understand. Let's try more debugging. So I have my terminal. It says it's pushing. Object. Huh. That's not what I expected to see. Slow down, you're clicking too fast. Cool. Got rate limited by my own bot. I don't know. I'm not seeing what the issue here is. Wait. Hold on. Pushing. Ian. Oh! I do see what the problem is. I don't know how that's what's happening, though. I am giving it a bad language key. It thinks that this whole string, en, comma, object, object, etc., 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 all the way into this little space is the language key. So it is writing and updating this database, but it's updating it to a list of entries that don't exist. Languages. That's index. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, it is updating a database, but it's making basically a new entry, which is not what it's reading back. Which is why pressing the button multiple times is not iterating the timestamp in any meaningful way, because you'll update a timestamp in a different place than you're reading from, because I gave it a bad index. There we go. Let's try that. Kill the bot. Start up again. I'm gonna do... Okay, so now I'm gonna click plus. Plus. That made a bunch more entries than I expected. Stamp time does appear to actually be incrementing, though. You can see right here. So do I have this backwards? I think I have this backwards. I think I have the subtract and add 10 seconds reversed. Because it looks like I keep looking add and I keep seeing the stamp time go down. What the hell is my terminal doing? What the fuck happened? Unknown interaction. What the fuck happened? My bot crashed. Like a fatal crash. I don't know why. Oh, it's like, oh, okay. It was pushing like a lot of messages. Why? Why was it doing that? Huh. That's another fun mystery. Okay. Yep, I have these backwards. That's fun. Let me minimize this again. So why did it do that just now? That's very strange. Timestamp storage, I can hide that again. No need. Oh, but now I didn't test a crucial part of this where these aren't unique, and it's just going to have a ton of entries. Oh, that's why. Okay. Now I understand everything that just happened now. It was spitting out a ton of entries in here, and the list was only getting bigger because each time I clicked on that button, it was making a new entry in this list, and then all subsequent ones would make new entries. So it was basically exponentially expanding the size of this list. I made one timestamp, I clicked the button, and it made a new one that had the same filter criteria, which is the message ID. I clicked the button a second time, it finds 2 matches. So then it makes 4, because each match that it found, it then makes a new copy of. And so because I was just mashing that button over and over again, it was unhappy to say the least. So that's no good. I need some way to make these unique. And that's not something I had considered when I was setting up this storage mechanism. So that's a pain in the ass. I guess I can just do a filter. I can do... let me see if I remember how to do this. JS remove matches from list. I guess I just do a filter and then what is it? It's going to be if basically I want to find, I can't use the map structure here because it doesn't serialize and deserialize nicely. So this is a list instead, which is kind of messy, but it means I have to re-implement a bunch of map type things. So what I want to do here is if current list contain or filter. I also wish I could tell if that current list is supposed to be a type of like array, but it doesn't get that inherently. Current list filter. Where, let's see. What is the syntax for filter? I can never remember. It's going to be a 0 equals message ID. Not filter, it's going to be find. This is going to be entry equals and then it's going to be current so we're going to do entry. So if we have one here, entry actually we're going to do match. We have match, we're going to do const entry equals match. If so, match.timestamp is just equal to the new timestamp. Else, if there is no matching entry, we just do new, and it's not match.timestamp, it would be match1 equals timestamp, current list. Oh no, but we don't want to push necessarily. We only want to push if we had a match. Otherwise, we just update in place, I think, is how this works. Alright, let's see. let's see. We're gonna do if match that, else. Not everything. I'm literally never going to learn that not everything needs to be a ternary. Okay, so if we try and find a match, if we have a match, we just update in place to the new timestamp. Else we make a new entry, basically. I think that's gonna work, and that won't make this blow up exponentially. I think. Only one way to find out. Let's go back to this. We're gonna do at boom +4. All right. I add 10 seconds. What does my terminal say? I have one entry. I click it again. I have two entries. Click it again. Still, I still only have this one entry per time. And now if I end the stream, I should have just added. Oh, let me also. Now I can hide my VS Code. So I clicked the +10 button, +10 seconds button 3 times. Now I'm gonna end the fake stream, and I should have my final timestamp being. Oh, yeah, because I had this running for a while. Expand. Let's try that again. Yeah, okay, you can see here's an example of how it exponentially blew up, is I had thousands of lines, which it didn't like. Stream is ended, here's a summary. Let's try again, let's start fresh. Boot that back up again. It's gonna tell me now live. We're gonna do at boom test stamp, which is at 0, 0. I'm gonna click +10 on it. 1, 2, 3 times. I'm gonna end the stream, and it now thinks it's at 25, which is approximately correct. That's interesting that it doesn't. I guess it didn't floor the. That's a small thing. So I have it. So by default, it's 10 seconds earlier than when you type in the command, because that's usually the amount of brain latency you need. For you saw something funny happen and you type in this command, I figured it was about 10 seconds. So I guess adding 30 seconds made it like it's actually -5, I guess, -5 seconds from when stream started, because I booted up the stream and then I typed this in, and so 10 seconds earlier is like I did it 5 seconds into the stream, so it was like -5. This does seem to be working correctly though. I got 25 as my final timestamp here. So now the only thing left to do, and I don't think I can do this in the 15 minutes before I want to close out for the day, is make the actual message here update in place. Let's see. Actually, I probably can. It'll just be annoying. So now we're going to go back to VS Code one last time. Oh, wait, no. Show VS Code. There we go. Uncomment this. We're going to do beds. Bed. And now we need to do const or that's not a constant, it's going to be a lit. Timestamp. Now, there's got to be a better way to do this, I think, but we will see. We're going to say timestamp equals entry 1. Timestamp. We can update the embeds. Okay. I think I got this now. I think that will work. Let me kill that. Run the bot one more time. Hide that. We go to Discord for the last time this evening. And we do boot up this fake stream. We do at this. We do T test stamp number 2. Pop that in there. Now I can click 10 seconds. And there we go. It more or less is updating by 10 seconds each time. 47. I can do minus 37. There we go. And so that seems to be working. 20. So it was like it was 26. I guess it's rounding because it's not doing milliseconds, right? So those 26, 37, 47. And so now I can do that, and I can end the secondary stream. Prints out the thing with the correctly updated timestamp. I'm a big winner. It all works. Yeah, so now I've got, I think, all the functionality that I need. It's just a matter of actually, like, putting it in a good pattern. This was the most hotly requested feature for this bot of post-launch stuff. People really wanted to be able to edit timestamps because that's a thing they can do with YouTube, no problem. And I just didn't have a good sense of how to do that. But this, I think, accomplishes what I want to do in a minimally resource-intensive way. And I think I like this design better than the YouTube approach because it clearly correlates what you're adjusting. I guess it's a little less granular. The YouTube one, you can do a command like, you do like adjust, and you could do like -7 if you wanted to do like specifically 7 seconds earlier. I don't think you need that level of granularity in this case. I think that's over-designing it. And also, it's not clear when you type that adjust command what timestamp you're actually adjusting. I don't really know how it relates those two. I think it just does the last one that was entered, which means if somebody else enters a timestamp between now and when you adjusted your thing, it's busted. Okay, actually, so here's a question. What happens if I keep clicking these buttons? Yeah, last one entered, yeah. So, like, I don't necessarily like that. I think that's kind of like a limitation of the thing. It should just be linked to the timestamp all in one. What happens if I keep clicking this after there's no more entry? Yes, I get a fatal error. So we're not quite out of the woods yet. Because now it's trying to update a stamp that no longer exists because it got flushed out of the database. That's exciting. I could have it hide all the buttons once the stream ends or something like that. But I think I just need to handle this in a meaningful way. 140. I'll save that for another time, though. It's getting late. It's 10:50 p.m. now on the East Coast. I'm tired. I don't really feel like figuring this out right now. Got most of the stuff I wanted to do done. I figured out how buttons work on a Discord bot. That's exciting. I learned how to make a thing update in place. That's all fine and good. So I'm gonna call it there. I'm happy with this so far. I'll resume working on this tomorrow. Probably not on stream, but maybe. we'll see how I'm feeling. The real question now is, do I want to throw it over to somebody else? Probably, right? Who's live right now? Alright, I'm gonna say... Oh, you're gonna hear an ad now, because I just opened somebody's stream. I mean, I feel like I was mostly just talking to a... Not a wall, but not talking intelligently in a way that was facilitating conversation. Probably has to do with it being 9 p.m. Not the smartest time to start. I'm gonna do a raid. It's gonna be on this person. So this, you feel like you want to keep watching stuff. Sass over here is playing, I think, Soccer Wars right now. Or maybe they're still on the Sniper 2 playthrough. It looks like they're just doing PlayStation games, I think, that start with S. I don't know what the correlation is. But yeah, feel free to say hello to them, stop by, and thanks everyone for keeping me company on this journey. I appreciate it. That'll be all.